John D. Rockefeller, the poor boy who became the richest man in the world. A story that proves even men born in poverty can rise to become unimaginably wealthy. That's exactly what happened with John Davidson Rockefeller.
Born into a household sunk deep in misery.
His father was a thief who robbed train cars, and his mother was a humble housewife. Both were illiterate, and yet their son, John D. Rockefeller, became the richest man in history. In fact, no one on today's list of the richest people in the world even comes close to matching his fortune. You'd have to combine the net worths of at least the 15 richest people alive today, just to get near the wealth Rockefeller amassed. Here are the most important money lessons from John D. Rockefeller. This video reveals the secrets of the ultra-billionaire John Rockefeller, a man so savvy in business and finance that not even the government could make a dent in his fortune. The great patriarch of one of the most powerful families on earth returns from the other side to offer priceless advice and teach you how to build wealth from nothing. 1. Start developing sales skills as early as possible. Even as a child, Rockefeller was making money selling candy and gold-painted stones to kids at school. The son of a known con artist and pickpocket who worked the train lines in the early 1900s, Rockefeller started selling candy at school, even to his own siblings. This sparked his love for money and taught him that making money is possible for anyone, no matter their circumstances, if you know how to sell. Young John D. Rockefeller, a strict old-school purist, was 100% focused on saving money. He finished his accounting studies while working as a messenger in his spare time. His first job was as a bookkeeper at a grain and commodities trading firm. He was never your average guy. He fully committed to his work, never went to bars or taverns, and never complained about long hours, often working from 7 a.m. to nearly 10 p.m. His biography describes him as having a military-level discipline, despite never serving in the army. 2. To earn extraordinary income, you must make extraordinary efforts. Most people born into poverty believe that becoming rich is impossible, not realizing that building wealth often requires superhuman effort. Military-level discipline is nearly impossible for most. Giving up weekends and fun for years? That's something few are willing to do. But they still complain about lacking opportunities. Rockefeller avoided all those distractions. 3. Don't wait for the stars to align. Start your business once you have experience. Like Rockefeller, you shouldn't wait for the perfect moment to start. Once you've gained experience, go for it. Don't spend your entire life working for others. And if you do, don't complain later about not having money or how hard life is. If you never had the guts to start a business, then maybe you were meant to be just another employee. Harsh words, but true. Rockefeller's first business in grains and raw materials was a success, but he eventually sold his shares to invest in something even more profitable: oil. Back in 1864, public lighting was powered by kerosene, a petroleum byproduct. He saw the opportunity and started his first oil refinery. 4. Constantly identify new income streams. Just because your business is doing well today doesn't mean it always will. Complacency is dangerous. The times change. What makes money today might not tomorrow. You must diversify and invest in new assets. By age 30, Rockefeller was in the oil business, and it turned out to be his greatest move. He acquired all the refineries in Cleveland and kept going. Amazingly, despite his immense wealth, he never wore fancy suits or flaunted his money. He lived with frugality. He was even known for leaving miserable tips at restaurants. Waiters expected generous tips, but Rockefeller would leave just a few cents, the modern equivalent of tipping $2 or $3. 5. When your income grows, don't let your spending grow with it. There's a rule called capital preservation. Just as you valued money when you had none, You must keep that respect for it when you have plenty. Don't waste it. Don't become stingy, but don't lose your grounding either. Too many people, as soon as they get a little money, go on a shopping spree. Designer clothes, luxury items, pointless junk. Value your money, or it will vanish as quickly as it arrived. As Rockefeller expanded his oil empire, he began buying up all the refineries across the U.S. He was clearly a master administrator. He understood the language of money and numbers. After all, he had been a bookkeeper. 6. The first person you should hire when starting a business is an accountant. Why did Rockefeller insist on this? Because the moment you start a business, your initial investment becomes a debt. Until you've repaid that amount, your business is in the red. Even if you used your own savings, act as if you borrowed it from a bank. Your business didn't earn that money. You fronted it. Until it pays you back, it's not profitable. This is why so many businesses fail. They don't grasp this basic principle. Once Rockefeller controlled the majority of U.S. oil refineries, he was accused of monopolistic practices by the U.S. government due to his massive company, Standard Oil. Other businessmen, like the legendary Cornelius Vanderbilt, tried to take him down. Vanderbilt offered his massive railroad fleet to transport Rockefeller's oil. But later, Rockefeller had a brilliant idea: pipelines, leaving the trains behind. This genius move helped him cut ties with Vanderbilt, a competitor who was trying to take over his business. 7. Be visionary. Be observant. Your business can always be better. Don't depend on others. Learn to spot backstabbers and cut them out. Develop the talent and skill to never depend on uncomfortable partnerships. Thanks to this strategic move, Vanderbilt couldn't enter the oil industry.
With the same force as Rockefeller.
Worth noting, at that point, Vanderbilt was significantly wealthier than young John. 8. Only partner with people who bring real value to your business. A partner should grow in capital along with your business. If they can't, don't include them. Simple as that. Years later, with over 90% of U.S. oil under his control, Rockefeller was sued again for being a monopoly. Yes, he went to trial against the U.S. government. They never imagined that a boy born into poverty would rise to become the richest man in history. By then, Rockefeller was over 70, an incredibly respected businessman. Still, he lost the trial and was forced to break up Standard Oil and sell much of its infrastructure to other companies. Ironically, that turned out to be the best thing that could have happened to him. The 1920s financial crash struck, one of the worst in history. Stock prices plummeted. Shares once worth $100 dropped to just $7. And Rockefeller, he bought up stocks again, lots of them. A few years later, the market bounced back, and his fortune grew over 15 times. That catapulted him to unmatched wealth, making him the richest man in history. The only person ever to rise from poverty to such unimaginable wealth purely through merit. Simply put, John Davidson Rockefeller was a genius. 9. No matter how hard life gets, there is always a door. It's up to you to see the opportunity hidden in adversity. Never complain. Never whine. Never feel sorry for yourself. Be a man and keep moving forward. 10. Learn about finance, investing, and economics. These are fundamental if you want to understand the language of money. Without financial knowledge, you'll never be able to seize